Hey, what's up? My name is Joachim. I've been a digital nomad for the last 2.5 years. I've been traveling a lot through Southeast Asia, but for the last 5 days, I've been in Lecce, Italy, also called the Florence of the South. And in this video, I want to share with you my first impressions of this beautiful city. So the first thing that you will notice, especially when you come to this old town, is the beauty of the landmarks here. In my opinion, it's insane. It feels like you're walking into a movie and you're like, wow, what is this? And it is because it's so historical. I was so surprised by the way it looked. Honestly, I've been traveling so much in Asia that I forgot the beauty of Europe and especially the historical sites that you can see here. We have churches that look stunning, beautiful. And the beautiful thing is they don't only use the churches for worshiping, but they also organize events in the church, which I think is amazing because that is for you a way to step into the churches, look into the churches because there's so much art into the churches, but they also organize like music events. And I walked into a live orchestra and it was amazing. They were playing a live concert of Interstellar and it was beautiful. It was so heart-touching. Then of course you have the square, and the square is amazing. By weekend, it's full of people. It's jam-packed. People are performing. They're dancers, break dancers, singers. People are just walking there. Everybody's having a good time. So the square is so nice, and it's also surrounded by all restaurants. And you would think that most restaurants next to a popular spot would be tourist traps, but actually, in all fairness, all the restaurants there were so beautiful for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. I highly recommend you go to that spot. So how is the weather in Lecce? I had no expectations. I remember being home and I saw 36 degrees and I was like, no, like 36 is too much. Like, I love hot weather, but 36 sounds too much. But when I arrived here, 36 was actually pretty okay because there's always like a breeze in the old city that really makes it enjoyable. But what you really have to know is they have a siesta lifestyle. What does that mean? When you come here in the morning, you can walk around, you'll see people, but from the moment the sun is really high and it really gets really hot, people tend to stay inside. And then you would think you would be in a ghost town because it's like almost everyone disappeared. But then when the clock hits 7 o'clock, everybody comes back outside. So I highly recommend you to go outside at night because that's when everybody goes outside, and that makes it so enjoyable. Then you would really feel the energy and the vibrance that Lecce has to offer. So now let's talk about the people in Lecce. In all fairness, I've been to Rome, I've been to Milan, and it scared me a little bit. I felt people were not so nice, and no offense to people that are from there, like, it's just my experience, right? So when I knew I was going to Italy again, I was a little bit scared. But then when I arrived here in Lecce, man, people were so nice here. I remember arriving at the airport and I ordered a drink and the people were really curious where I was from. And they said I had a beautiful smile, and the people were just so nice, authentically nice, genuinely nice. And even then when I came into the city, everybody was nice. When you want to take a picture, people are stopping, people are waiting. When you want to take a picture, like they would ask you like, hey, shall I take a picture of you? Like, I've not been to many places where people would offer that themselves, which is amazing. I even made some friends. I was drinking a coffee and I love the people, like the Italian people, they have like some fire inside of them, right? And they're like, I thought they were arguing. So I was like, what's going on? What are you guys talking about? And then they said like, oh no, we were just talking about how busy it was and how many people are here. And it's so lovely. And not everybody speaks English. I would even say most people don't speak English here. But the people would try to explain, and that is really lovely. I really appreciate that. Now let's talk about food. In all fairness, Italian cuisine is one of my favorite cuisine in the world. And when I came here, I also had in mind like I want to try a lot. For the starters, I ordered buffalo mozzarella with Parma ham. Mind you, normally I don't like Parma ham, but today I'm going to be a little bit open-minded. And then I ordered mixed grill with some potatoes, and my friend ordered pasta with seafood. So let's see how it goes. Even though I'm a very picky eater, I don't like a lot of food, I came with a very open mind and I was so surprised. I ate so many things that I just loved. Like literally when I woke up, I was thinking like, what am I gonna eat? I would come back home thinking about what am I gonna eat for lunch? Come back home, then thinking what am I gonna eat for dinner? So I feel a lot for me revolved around food, and they have a lot of amazing food here. Like almost in all fairness, you could walk in any restaurant here and they would have a very good menu and very good food. Even the restaurants near the square are very good. But there's one thing you have to know. They're very strict with their hours here. So in the morning, if you want to have breakfast, you need to be there before 11. Because if you arrive after 11, you might not get served. Like you might only have a drink, get a drink, a coffee, but they're really strict with their hours. So then usually lunch is served at 12, 12:30. So if you want either of both, you have to be mindful of that because you cannot order breakfast at lunchtime. Alright, so I couldn't do this inside, of course, because apparently I was not really a fan of the food, but also know that I'm a very picky eater, so I don't blame them for them, because my friend had a spaghetti with seafood. I don't like seafood, you see, difficult eater, but she would say it's like a 7 out of 10. That meat, for example, the meat, I think I left half of my plate because the meat just didn't taste really good in my opinion. Like, it was mixed grill. You saw it on the video. It was chicken, pork, and some sausage. Nah, it was not for me, so that's okay. So I'm gonna see if I'm gonna eat something else somewhere or just eat the dessert right away, and then we'll see and take it from there. So beautiful people, I decided to go to a different place because I'm actually still hungry and I love carbonara. It's one of my favorite dishes. I thought every Italian restaurant would have carbonara, but they don't. But I found one that has. So now I'm gonna try the carbonara. I'm really very curious, and let's try it out. Now we're gonna try the tiramisu. Tiramisu is my favorite dessert of all time. It's the only dessert I eat, or one of the few. This one, as you can see, bro. The texture is fire. I think, like, I feel like tiramisus in Europe, tiramisus in Belgium, or in Asia, they feel so runny. Here I feel the texture is so thick with it. I love it. Also, I want to quickly talk about the service, because some restaurants have very good service, which I was really happy with, but also, in all fairness, there were a lot of restaurants where we went where I thought the service was a little bit less. Maybe people were not in a good vibe at that moment, but sometimes I had the feeling like I didn't want to order because I felt I was bothering the waiter. So that is like a small detail that I just wanted to mention. But I went to this restaurant called Bonashana, and their service was beautiful. Their people were so nice. The energy when I walked in, I was like, oh, I love that place. So they also have a coverage charge, and that is a fixed price per person. And that means that covers the bread, the oil, the tableware. So that's something you're gonna see on your seat that's gonna be added. So I didn't know about that. And it doesn't matter how much you're spending, you're still gonna pay the same price. So the food was very nice. Even though I didn't like everything because I'm a very picky eater, they have very good food. Like their burratas, their mozzarellas, like there's no better place than Italy to try this food. So that is really wonderful. Now let's talk accommodation. So I booked 2 places. One place was outside of the old town, one place was inside of the old town. And for the first apartment, I paid approximately 80 euros per day. I think it was a very nice apartment. It was on walking distance to the old town, so I think that was really nice. But I also decided to stay inside of the old town, which is very nice because you have like historical views like this, which is insane. But it's a little bit more pricey because I paid 150 euros per night here. Also know that it's high season, so of course prices are a little bit higher. So what you see here, this is a very historical hotel. We are in the only Octa room in this entire town, which is insane. If you look how beautiful it is an experience just to stay here, and I would highly recommend you. Let's talk about transportation. So I arrived in the airport of Brindisi. From there I took the bus from the airport to Lecce bus terminal. So the bus ride was 42 minutes from the airport to Lecce bus terminal, and it was only 8 euros. Then I had to get to my apartment, but it was already pretty late and it would be a 30-minute walk, so I decided to take a taxi. And that was an 8-minute drive, but that 8-minute drive was almost 20 euros, which in my opinion is a little bit expensive. Then when you arrive in Lecce, most things you can do by foot. So of course, I live as a digital nomad, so that means finding a good work environment is really important. And in all fairness, there's not really a community here. There's not a lot of cafes or bars where you can really do proper work. So usually I worked from home. But that was all good because in all fairness, the internet was really well. And if you're thinking about becoming a digital nomad, I made a free guide that you can download in the description so that also you one day maybe can have this lifestyle. If you download it and you have any feedback, please let me know on Instagram. So based on my first 5 days here, what is my recommendation? Please visit this town. It is beautiful, but I would say just come here for 3 days. You're gonna see everything, you're gonna explore everything. And the good thing is, usually for 50 euros, you can find a return flight with Ryanair, even in high season. So you have no excuse not to come here. If it wasn't for my friend, I would have never come here, and that would be very sad. I'm really happy I got the chance to discover Lecce, and it would definitely be a place I would come back to if I had the time. Thank you for watching. If you want more of these kind of videos, make sure to subscribe and like this video. And with this one, Badejoh out.